or designee, has the front lobby been attended to ensure public access? And are we ready to proceed? Thank you. The school board meeting of May 10th, 2022 is now called to order. The time is 6:02. Prior to the start of the meeting this evening, we have been enjoying the music performed by students at Cypress Lake High School String Department. These students are under... These students are under the direction of Kayla Lisa. Some of these amazing students, musicians, will be performing at the Elementary String Builder performance on Thursday, May 19th. This performance will be at Cypress Lake High School starting at 7 p.m. Please give this group another round of applause. At this time, we will take a brief pause to clear the performance area. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Good job. To remind the members of the public of the district mission, which is to ensure that each student achieves his or her highest personal potential and the district vision to be a world-class school system. Board member Ms. Kathleen Morgan will be participating and voting by phone this evening pursuant to Board Policy 1.11. Ms. Morgan, are you with us?
Just heard her.
Ms. Morgan?
I am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here. This evening's agenda includes invocation, presentation of colors and pledge of allegiance, acknowledgements, recognitions, public comment, consent action items, which include 4 items under board office, which 3 are good cause. As the chair, the 3 good cause items are approval of the appointment of Ms. Gwynetta Gittens as the school board member to the value board adjustment, with Ms. Mary Fisher as the alternate school board member. Number 2, approval of the appointment of Charles Gutenkutz as the citizen member representative to the value board adjustment board. Number 3, the approval of the personnel recommendation of Dr. Kenneth Savage as Chief Strategy Officer upon the swearing in of the new superintendent, Dr. Christopher S. Bernier. As presiding officer, I find there is good cause to add these 3 items to the agenda. 4 items under academics, 3 items under business services, 4 items under human resources, which 1 is good cause. Dr. Carlin, who is sitting in for Dr. Savage today. Thank you, Dr. Carlin. Please provide an explanation for this 1 item.
Yes, Madam Chair, this item was added because the TALC tentative agreement includes language that requires the district to implement salary increases retroactive to July 1st, 2021 that must be paid to instructional staff on May 31st, 2022. To effectuate these changes, it is necessary to have the agreement approved and ratified this evening and prior to the next meeting of the board.
Thank you. As presiding officer, I find there is good cause to add this 1 item to the agenda. 5 items under operations. Board members, is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
I'll move to adopt the agenda as printed.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. And Ms. Morgan, how would you like to vote?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. And please record your vote. And Ms. Thompson, I have not been able to bring mine up to vote. I don't know if anyone else is having that problem.
Mine hasn't either.
Are you able to vote?
It hasn't come up.
No.
Doesn't come up.
I'm joining the meeting, but I'm not
Me
getting.
too.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Come up. Yes. Oh, okay.
Sorry, technical difficulties. Is everybody up now? Thank you. Okay, 7-0, motion carries. Thank you. Ms. Patrica will introduce her guests for the invocation, which after Ms. Gittens will lead us in the presentation of colors of the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Patrica, please introduce your guests for the invocation.
Please stand. I would like to invite Pastor Brianna Mills to the lectern. Thank you for being here tonight. Pastor Brianna Mills is the youth pastor for Next Level Church at their Fort Myers location. She and her husband have lived in Fort Myers for 5 years. They have 2 sons and another on the way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Please welcome Pastor Brianna Mills.
Thank you, guys. All right, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much. We thank you for every single person in this room. Lord, we thank you for every single teacher, faculty, and staff member, every student, and every family that's represented in this place and across our school system. God, we thank you for each of them. And Lord, we pray right now that your will would be done over this agenda today. God, we pray for supernatural wisdom over those that are making decisions. God, we pray for unity. We pray for patience. And Lord, we pray that you would move in this place, God, and that you would have your way above all else. And Lord, we love you and we thank you. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you.
Ms. Gittens?
I'm introducing the cadet who is presenting the national colors for our Pledge of Allegiance tonight is, I'm sorry, not I am, he is, okay, is Master Sergeant William Jones, Army instructor for South Fort Myers High School, JROTC. Master Sergeant Jones retired after 20 years of active duty service and is a veteran of Operation Enduring Freedom. This is Master Sergeant Jones' first year as a JROTC instructor in the district, and thank you for your service and thank you for serving our children.
Thank you. Presenting the national colors tonight is Cadet Colonel Tatiana Joseph, Brigade Commander of the Wolfpack Academy Junior ROTC program. Cadet Joseph is a senior at South Fort Myers High School, and through enrollment in numerous advanced placement and honors courses has achieved a GPA of 4.92. She has been actively involved in the Junior ROTC program over the past 4 years, filling numerous key leadership positions prior to being selected as the brigade commander in her senior year. She is a member of the Student Government Association, Jobs for Florida Graduates Program, National Honor Society, Boys and Girls Wrestling Team, and Track and Field. Tatiana has also been a member of the South Fort Myers High School Drill, Exhibition, Color Guard Team, Academics Team, and Cyber Patriot Team. She will be attending the University of Florida, where she will pursue a degree in biology. Please join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. I also want to recognize, too, that we have our incoming superintendent, Dr. Christopher Bernier, sitting over here with us. The character word for May is patience. The ability to wait calmly without complaining. The design you see displayed on the screen was created by Arletta Reyes. and 12th grader at Mariner High School, of course. And you can see her artwork's right up there, and thank you. Tonight, we also have the School Board of Lee County acknowledges the following events for the month of May 2022. National, and I want to say our student rep has their senior awards night tonight, so that was more important than being here, but that's why they're not with us this evening. So I just wanted to make that known. National Teacher Day, May 3rd, 2022. National Day of Prayer, May 5th, 2022. National School Nurse Day, May 11th, 2022. National Missing Children Day, May 25th, 2022. National Teacher Appreciation Week, May 2nd through 6th, 2022. And thank you to our teachers. National Military Appreciation Month. We can give them a hand too. Jewish American Heritage Month and Asian Pacific Asian Heritage Month. Let's give them all a hand, heck. Tonight's recognitions are the following. The Florida Music Educator Association All-State Selection, Ms. Giovanelli will be doing that. The 2022 Black History Month contest winners, Ms. Gwinnetta Gittins. The 2022 Odyssey of the Mind Florida State Tournament winners, Ms. Betsy Vaughn. Mariner High School ROTC Marksmanship Team, Ms. Chris Patrica. Mariner High School ROTC Drill Team, Ms. Mary Fisher. Board members, please take your places in the pit for recognitions. And we have quite a few, so patience comes in really handy this evening, so thank you. You are. That's why I named it.
Okay. I would like to invite Jason Tomaszki, and I'm saying it wrong, I'm sure, so I apologize already, the Fine Performing Arts Coordinator, to please join me at the lectern. Thank you. Can I say your name? Can you say your name for me?
Jason Tomaszewski.
Tomaszewski. Okay, I'm going to do it right next time. Thank you. The School District of Lee County is proud to announce the recognition of the Florida Music Educators Association and All-Star Selections. The Florida Music Educators Association All-State Music Conference was held January 12th through the 15th, 2022 in Tampa. Elementary, middle, and high school students from the Lee County School District attended and earned all-state recognition and awards in various areas. The first one is Challenger Middle, Jared Beatry, 7/8 Honor Band. Would you please come forward? I'm just going to keep going. Okay. Gulf Middle, Myra Ramirez, 7/8 Honor Band. Mariner Middle, Samantha Oliveira, Middle School Band. Alex Patuca, Middle School Band. And Isaiah Pasternak, Middle School Band. North Fort Myers Academy of the Arts, Addison Evans, 7/8 Honor Band. Okamic Middle School, Rolando Rodriguez, 7/8 Honor Band. Paul Arts Dunbar Middle School, oh my goodness. Curia Fernando, Middle School Treble Chorus. Trafalgar Middle School, Ian Molina. At Coral High School, Sarah Smith, SSAA Chorus, and Liam Farr, High School Honor Band. Cypress Lake High School, Lauren Major, SSAA Chorus, Connor Stroh, High School Honor Band, and Ben Minkin, High School Honor Orchestra. Dunbar High School, Isabel Liu, Concert 910 Orchestra. Estero High School, Evan Carville, Symphonic 11th through 12th Band. Fort Myers High School, Jaya Parsa, SSAA Chorus, and Matthew Bennett Concert 9th through 10th Band. Ida S. Baker High School, Jacob Trueblood. Lehigh Senior High, Grayson Peterson, Symphonic 11th through 12th Band. North Fort Myers High School, Claire Fissinger, Reading Chorus, Savannah Kohler, SSAA Chorus, Jamie DeLuca, SSA Chorus, Boaz Belindo, TTB Chorus, Rafael Perez Freeman, Concert 9 through 12 Band, Ian Lufer, Concert 9 through 10 Orchestra Winds, Celeste Schreiber, Symphonic Band 11 through 12 Band, and My Vow High School Honor Orchestra. Congratulations, everybody. Just keep going. Thank you. Okay, people move back this way. Here's extra, he'll take this. Can we have another great big hand of applause for all these winners? Thank you. Thank you. That's fine. You're fine. That is a cute baby. Congratulations.
Okay. I would like to invite Lisa Eastridge, principal of Allen Park Elementary, and Trent Eckerd, principal of Paul Lawrence Dunbar Middle School, to please join me at the lectern. Are they here? There they come. I don't want to be lonely over here, okay? And Governor Ron DeSantis announced the winners of the Black History Month Student Essay and Art Contests. Students from grades K to 3 were invited to participate in the art contest, and students in grades 4 to 12 were invited to participate in the essay contest. The theme of this year's contest was celebrating African American contributions to Florida's history. The 2022 Black History Month Art Contest asked students in grades K to 3 to submit the original artwork based on this year's theme. 2 winners were chosen in the art contest. Now, I've been practicing all evening to say Zuri's name, so I'm going to say the whole thing when it comes time. That was Zuri Jackson, a 3rd grader at Allen Park Elementary, who submitted her work entitled Future Donald's Legacy. The 2022 Black History Month Essay Contest asked students in grades 4 to 12 to write an essay of no more than 500 words based on this year's theme, celebrating African American contributions to Florida's history. The essay contest had 3 overall winners who will each receive a 4-year Florida College Plan scholarship. And that will be provided by Florida Prepaid College Foundation. Congratulations to the parents for that. Okay, so are we ready? The first one, I am going to say the name.
Say the first name?
Yes, I'm going to say it all. I've been practicing. Okay. Wait a minute. Kuruku La Surya Nishini Fernando. How'd I do? And she is an 8th grader at Paul Lawrence Dunbar Middle School and won the overall middle school state award for her essay entitled Siobhan Harris, A Voice of Many. Let's give her one more hand. Okay, and how did I do on pronouncing?
How'd you do?
How'd I do? All right. Congratulations. I have it. Oh, I have another one? Okay, sorry. And Karuka, here's your. Congratulations. And the next award, Zuri Jackson from Allen Park Elementary. Is Zuri here? Oh, Zuri, are you here? Okay. Well, we're going to present this anyway and give Zuri a hand. So when Zuri... So Zuri, when you watch this on the YouTube, we said a shout out for you.
I'd like to invite Lisa Eastridge, principal of Allen Park Elementary, and Trent Eckhart, principal of Paul Lawrence Dunbar Middle, to please join me at the lectern. Odyssey of the Mind is an international creative problem-solving competition for students from kindergarten through college. Team members work together at length to solve a predefined long-term problem and present their solution at a competition. This year, the Florida State competition was held March 12, 2022 in Orlando, Florida. Paul Lawrence Dunbar Middle finished first in their division, and the team members include, so come up as I call your name, Rochelle Brito in 8th, these are actually, well, 2 8th graders, all right. Victoria Bush in 8th grade, Vienna Bush, 6th grade, Addison Nadwani in 8th grade, Peyton Sidwell, 8th grader, and Delia Smith, 8th grader. Congratulations to all of you. Okay, We have another award. Gateway Elementary School finished first in their division. Team members include Sophia Beach, Ethan Camera, Adelie Kolar, Ileana Kolar, and Lily Martin. If you all would. You all come up and get your picture taken. Well, I do my best. What can I say?
I just did all of them.
You have the... Oh, I'm so sorry. Abigail.
They want to pick them.
Maybe they didn't have her on the sheet, but she's on our team. I'm so sorry.
Tell me the last name again. Orr. And unfortunately, this young lady's name was left off, and Abigail Orr. So give her a hand too. And picture Abigail. Did anybody else's name get left off? We're very sorry. These things happen, and it doesn't undermine Abigail. You did a great job, great part of the team. I don't type them. Did everybody get their certificates?
We still have Alan Park.
Did everybody from this school? Okay, we'll wait for their picture.
Then Miss Gibson, get her over here. Come on, Miss Gibson.
This, and there's more. Allen Park Elementary Team IMAG finished second in their division, and these team members include Charlie Bush, 4th grade, Amelia Edwards, 4th grade, Nathan Harder, 4th grade, Serge Harkinson, maybe I'm close, am I good with that? 4th grade, Dahania Jean-Baptiste, or Jean-Baptiste, Jean, goes by Jean-Baptiste, okay? And Galet Jean-Baptiste is in 2nd grade. And her sister, I guess, is in 4th grade. So, okay. You know, and young people, I do not blame you at all if I'm butchering your names. I do my best, and I'll tell you, if you were in my classroom, I'd get it right after a few times, but. Okay, and finally, another team here, Allen Park Elementary. Again, the O'Malley clan team finished 8th in their division, and those team members are Kaya Hammond, 5th grade, Lanny Rigel, 5th grade. Are any of you here? Come on down. Cameron Palmer, 5th grade, Tasmia Rea, 5th grade, Malia Atkinson, 5th grade, and Riley Milgram, 5th grade. And the school board, they're not here, but we will make sure that they get their certificates. The school board and superintendent congratulate these teams for their accomplishments and wish them continued success. And I know this is a very hard contest that you have to study for. So congratulations again to all of you.
Good evening. I'd like to invite JROTC Senior Army Instructor, Major Brian Williams, his wife, Coach Mary Beth Williams, and Dr. Thomas Michael, Principal of Mariner High School, to please join me at the lectern. As they join us, I'd like to point out that both Coach Mary Beth Williams and Major Brian Williams served our country in the armed services, and I'd like to offer them a round of applause. So marksmanship contests are an NCAA sport and an Olympic event. In fact, 32 Division I, II, and III universities offer full athletic scholarships for their marksmanship programs, and Mariner is about to show off. The Mariner High School Triton marksmanship team set out this school year with ambitious goals, following limited training and competition opportunities during last school year due to the pandemic. As a team, Mariner did the following. They won both the West Zone and District Championships. They placed 4th overall in Florida State Championships, placed 7th in the Southeast and 16th in the nation at the Southeast USA Regional Championships in Anniston, Alabama. They qualified for the Civilian Marksmanship Program's National Championship in June in Ohio. And if that wasn't enough, in the individual shooting results, the Tritons took 1st place, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 6th place overall at district. Cadet Nathan Krockstrom, 10th grade, won his 2nd consecutive individual district title, won the Florida State Individual Championship, and placed 4th overall at the Southeast USA Regional Championship. If you hear me call your name, please come up and wait right here. Next, Cadet Erica Vasquez placed 2nd in district and 9th overall in Florida. Florida's a big state, so that's a big deal. The team is led by Cadet Captain Elena Cardenas Cruz. Other team members include Cadet Captain Kayla Berry, Cadet Sergeant First Class Trent Olson, Cadet Sergeant First Class Nathan Krockstrom, Cadet Sergeant First Class Erica Vasquez, Cadet Lieutenant Elena Cardus Cruz, and Cadet Corporal Tyler Denard. If I called your name, please come up. The school board and superintendent are very pleased to recognize Mariner High School Civilian Marksmanship Team under the direction of JROTC Senior Army Instructor Major Brian Williams at Mariner High School and his wife, Coach Mary Beth Williams. Thank you.
And last but not least, I'd like to invite Major Brian F. Williams, Department Chair and JROTC Senior Army Instructor, and Dr. Thomas Michael, Principal at Mariner High School, to please join me at the lectern, and they're here already. Annually, JROTC drill teams from the state of Florida compete in Lakeland, Florida for the state championships. This year, the Mariner High School Armed Platoon finished #1 in the state. The commander of the championship drill team is Abby Royal. Other members include Andy Boone, Camila Calderon, Isabella Caprio, Ashley Coleman, Adriel Costa, Lillian Fisher, Alejandra Guevara, Lillian Kobelis, Tennille Perez, Brian Petty, Elias Salye, Brooklyn South, Zachary Wade, and Kendon Wilcox. If I called your name, please come on and line up. Good job. Okay. The school board and the superintendent are pleased to recognize the Mariner High School Armed Platoon under the command of Major Brian Williams, Department Chair and JROTC Senior Army Instructor, and Dr. Thomas Michael, Principal at Mariner High School. Congratulations.
Good job.
At this time, we're going to take a brief moment just to allow people to leave if they'd like. And again, I just have to say, wow, this was like, look at all these wonderful kids. I just really, let's give them another hand.
The size of those trophies.
Buddy,
Thank
that was
you.
great.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Very good. Awesome.
You want some? That's it.
Oh, no, thanks. Well, yeah. Thanks. What it does psychologically, anyway.
You want some? Pass it down. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
There goes the audience. However.
Okay, Ms. Morgan, you're still with us, correct?
I am.
Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is public comment. Ms. Zupke, I apologize. Please address the item of public comment.
Yes. The school board. Okay. School board policy provides the opportunity at this point in the meeting to address the board concerning any matter on the meeting's agenda or any other matter relevant to the operation of the school district. If you completed a public comment card, please put it in the basket provided at the back of the room. If you need a public comment card, they are provided by our staff located in the hallway outside the boardroom. The rules concerning public comment are posted in and will be made from the microphone in the back of the room. Please be advised that the board will not respond during public comment to remarks made by speakers. Speakers and those attending those meetings are expected to act, speakers and those attending the meeting are expected to act in a respectful manner. The purpose of the public comment is to provide feedback on school district issues. Abusive language is prohibited. In addition, clapping, hissing, and booing, unreasonably loud and/or offensive language, swearing, cursing, or displaying of temper during the public comment time is prohibited. Speakers who fail to follow proper decorum in the chambers will be ruled out of order. Any speaker continuing with such remarks will be required to relinquish the microphone per Board Policy 1.11 and may be removed from chambers. Per Board Policy 1.11, the time per speaker is 3 minutes if there are 20 speakers, 2 minutes if there are 30 speakers, and 1 minute if there are 31 speakers or more. The maximum time allotted for public comment is 1 hour, 60 speakers. You will find a countdown on the big screen in the front of the room. Once your time has elapsed, the microphone will automatically shut off. Please state your name when you approach the microphone. I will call your name 5 speakers at a time. Please follow staff's direction when lining up. Madam Chair, there are 11 speakers that wish to address the board this evening.
Thank you. Please make sure that you have completed a public comment card if you intend to provide public comments. The card is a public record identifying those who speak and providing contact information for staff to follow up. The cards are located with the staff in the hallway. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to address the board but did not fill out a comment card?
This time, the first 5 speakers are Yepram Dervanahan, Lori Brown, Sharon McGill, Joe Phillips, and Denise Nystrom.
Good evening.
Yep, from Dervahanian, Lehigh Acres, Florida. I love my country, but I fear my government, and I fear the school board. Few comments I got to say, I tried the best I can My first language is Armenian and Turkish and Detroit English. So I'll do the best I can here. First of all, I think we have to clean this board, get new people in here. It's time. This board's done a terrible job. I've been coming to meetings. I swore the day Nancy Graham got sworn in, I seen Atkins and Savage. And all these years, the quality of this board has been going down, down, down. Terrible, terrible. You people haven't been doing a good job to our kids with all this gay agenda and all this other stuff. Just teach the kids how to read and write and do arithmetic. You're a bunch of hypocrites. You're pushing all this agenda on our kids. They're messing them up. You come in here and you say, oh, these gay kids are doing suicide. How about the straight kids? They're doing suicide. But you never bring that up. No, you got a political agenda. Completely disappointed in this board. I think we should have elections that we can vote for our board members, not be appointed. It's been a failure. Since Nancy Graham, since I've been coming here, it's been getting worse and worse. So we should have elections where we can pick our board members and superintendent. Let's see what else I got here. You know, public schools were originated by clergy, Catholic clergy, Christian clergies. The reason for people could read the Bible. I don't see any Bibles. There should be Bibles in every room. Why the school system is against Christianity, I don't understand it. You know, we have a good code of conduct. The 10 Commandments is a great code of conduct. So I'm really disappointed in this school board. I hope you guys get voted out. I hope we get people in here that can worry about our kids and not political agenda. God bless. Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Lori Brown. I've been a Lee County resident since I was a child. Thankfully, I did not go through the Lee County School Board as a junior high or high school student. Had I done that, I think my life would be a lot different. Today, I want to bring to your attention an article that was sent out by my wellness committee at work. It talks about suicide and the rate among teens and young adults. Suicide is the second leading cause of death among people 15 to 24 in the U.S. Nearly 20% of high school students report serious thoughts of suicide, and 9% have attempted it. According to Dr. Flesher, the things that make teenagers and young adults most vulnerable are where they stand socially and where they stand developmentally. Developmentally, their judgment and decision-making abilities are still coming online. The prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive control center, doesn't fully develop until someone is in their mid-20s. Dr. Fleischer explains this makes young people more impulsive. They are not going to weigh risks and consequences or values in quite the same way as older folks would. Having said that, I would like to know where you, as a board member, think that you have the right to withhold from any parent or guardian that their child thinks that they're transgender or wants to make any sort of medical changes to their bodies. You do not have that right. You need to step away from that and stop this immediately. I have also looked through the Code of Conduct book, and while you have taken down most of the posters in the schools, your Code of Conduct entails a lot of the CRT, every bit of the CRT that Governor DeSantis has told you to take out. And I want to know when and how you're going to do that. And it had better be before the start of the next school year. Thank you.
Good evening.
Sharon McGill. Thank you, Board, for the opportunity for comment time. I first would like to thank Ms. Patrica for bringing up the hurricane reimbursement issue at the workshop yesterday, because that was number one on my list of comments for tonight. And next, there's a saying, you don't know what you don't know, but now we do. As a taxpayer, I too am outraged by the scholarship abuse that apparently is being perpetrated by the state, their third-party vendors, and parents. The district is losing funding and not finding out until after the fact. Plus, they are having to now spend additional time and resources to recoup the dollars, if it ever happens. I did some research after the workshop yesterday, and some of the information I found was disturbing, and I have reached out to several individuals as a result. These dollars are being taken away from our students. In our community, there are people who are making comments that social emotional learning is the next critical race theory indoctrinating kids, and they don't want it taught in schools. Well, CRT and social emotional learning are not classes taught in school. Social emotional learning is a method of teaching that is woven into curriculum classes to help kids learn life skills, teamwork, communication, conflict resolution, just to name a few. Social emotional learning encompasses a wide range of skills that help ensure academic success, self-esteem, and employability of students. I watched the Golden Apple Awards and was impressed by student comments about their teachers. They might not call it social emotional learning, but they get it. Comments like, teach me lessons for life, create a family environment, helps me understand how to step back and actually listen to people. So I think if a lot of people in the community might just step back for a minute and listen to what the kids actually are saying about this and stop just labeling methods of teaching, because these kids are learning math and science and reading, but they're doing it in a way that makes it fun for them. And if you listen to their comments, these kids are pretty sharp.
Smoking Joe. Last Thursday, many of us celebrated the National Day of Prayer. A large group of Floridians congregated on the steps of the old Fort Myers Courthouse. At the same time, another group attended the Progressive Democrat Party meeting at Broadway Palm. This is a group that Debbie Jordan once chaired and is also a member of. While the people were in prayer at the courthouse, those at Broadway Palm announced on social media that, and I quote, a group of well-funded white nationalists promoting book burning while attacking school board members and meetings, end quote. I'm highly offended by this for many reasons. One, I'm only half white. I've stated before my mother was a full-blooded Indian. Two, well-funded, that's news to me because I have funded my entire advocacy from my own damn pockets. Trust me, it's low budget. I don't understand how pointing out the obvious is an attack. I have never had a desire to burn books. I've only asked that they be age appropriate. Sorry if you're too ignorant to understand the difference. I will be the first to admit I do not approve the actions of any of you currently seated on this board. Some of you are merely cowards and prove that you're too weak to be effective. The others of you are rotten to the core and should be imprisoned. I have pleaded for a forensic audit, which has yet been addressed. I have numerous people contact me about whistleblower protection. I've instructed each of them to show me provable data I can use to help them. Being deemed a whistleblower is a life-altering, and I commend those brave enough to come forward. I have information I was recently given that Ms. Bruno filed a 36-page complaint and sought whistleblower protection from none other than Chris Patrica after she refused to interfere with the federal investigation. Could this be the reason why the workshop was canceled today? I would like someone to grow a pair and tell the truth. This is too dynamic for you to ignore any longer. The cowards on this board either had to step up and be honest, or you are culpable and should be prosecuted along with Chris Patrica. Speaking for this white Indian, underfunded victim of accusations from a group of atheist baby killers with an agenda to promote inappropriate literature to children, I will never stop fighting for our community, and I will always go against corrupt officials like Chris Patrica and the Beignet swine cult. Prosecute Chris Patrica and anyone who has collaborated with her. Faith family in Florida, my name's Smoking Joe. Get it done.
Will the next 6 people come up? Sandra D., Melissa Hatter, Lou Navarra, Tara Jenner, Jacqueline Perez, and Christy DiVigili.
I don't think everybody's up here yet who's ever keeping track of the time.
Ms. Thomas, you want to? May we take a
following video
5-minute break, please?
Why does she have to leave? Following video.
We're waiting for it to come back. I believe it is on now. Okay, thank you. Ms. Zupke, I apologize again for missaying your name. Will you please recall, and I think we were with Ms. Nystrom.
Yeah, I don't think.
Ms. Denise Nystrom, Sandra D., Ms. Melissa Hatter, Lou Navarra, Tara Jenner, Jacqueline Perez. Thank you, Mr. Smoke and Joe. Ms. Nystrom?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Thomas, will you start the clock for Ms. Nystrom, please?
Denise Nystrom. As someone who was an assistant superintendent, welcome Dr. Bernier. I wish you much success in this new venture. I know I saw him earlier, but I don't know where he is right now. It is National Teachers Day. It is National Teachers Appreciation Week. Thank you to all the teachers and counselors who are in the trenches every day and are doing the right thing, teaching and protecting our children. A student that I taught over 30 years ago just thanked me for how I helped her in her life. Teachers and counselors, you have a lasting impact on the lives of our children. Thank you very much. I understand that the district received a letter from Education Commissioner Jacob Oliva about the behavior of the board members and the lobbyists at the workshop meeting on Monday, April 25th, where Governor DeSantis' laws were mocked. This does not represent our community well. Please respect the governor's laws. When I started attending school board meetings over a year ago, I was an observer, trying to figure out what was really going on with the decision-making on the part of the board members, the superintendent, and the attorney. I want to thank those board members who worked I want to thank the board members because as someone who has worked, excuse me, I apologize, I'm just a little shaken up.
You're fine.
After Tara getting taken out. I would want to thank the board members at every board meeting because I worked with board members who were altruistic. Unfortunately, I learned that decisions were not always made about children, but about control over money and employees. And this is not just my speculation. It has nothing to do with which political party people belong to. If anybody has watched the last several years of YouTube videos, then you would know that board members Giovanelli, board member Vaughn, and Gittens expressed the ways in which they have been assaulted, harassed, and intimidated by fellow board members, specifically Chris Patrica. There are underhanded tactics and corruption going on. Last May, we thwarted a well-organized attempt on the part of the board to fire interim superintendent Dr. Savage. Dr. Savage was not a welcomed interim superintendent. He knew where many of the skeletons were buried and who buried them. Within the last few days, Patrica has asked Attorney Bruno to interfere with a federal Homeland Department investigation, and Attorney Bruno will not do it. Thank you, Attorney Bruno. You have ethics. So as much as I want to thank you for everything that it has done, what I really am calling upon are those same ethical board members, Vaughn, Gittens, and Giovanelli, to please take a stand now against Chris Patrica.
Hello.
Good
I'm
evening.
Melissa Hatter. Tonight I'd like to share the opinion of the Attorney General in response to questions of school board confidentiality. I believe the following will shed light on how the legality of how we are given or not given information. Statute 119, Chapter 119, define public records to include records of documents made or received by an agency during the transaction of official business. The provisions of Statute 231.291 apply to a complaint against a district employee when an investigation ensues. However, this exemption does not appear to apply to investigations of various school departments. Furthermore, an exemption from 119.07 does not imply an exemption from or to Statute 286.011. This office concluded that the exceptions to or from Chapter 119 of Florida statutes do not allow a public agency to close a meeting in which exempt or confidential material is to be discussed, in the absence of a specific exemption to Statute 286.11. It was asked whether an ethics complaint may be filed against an individual school board member who disclosed confidential information to the public. A violation of Code of Ethics must be resolved by the Commissioner of Ethics. However, it appears that investigation records generated or received during the investigation of various departments in a school district would not have been confidential. How many thousands, then, did we waste to investigate that? Statute 286.011, Florida statute, does not create a blanket exception to the Sunshine Law for all meetings between a public board and its attorney. Only discussions on pending litigation to which the public entity is presently a party are subject to its terms. Such discussions are limited to settlement negotiations, strategy sessions related to litigation expenditures. Therefore, communications regarding school business between individual members of the school board and the board attorney are not privileged communications, since it is the school board as a collegial body that is the client, and these meetings are subject to the government and the Sunshine Law. The school board attorney may memorialize in writing any advice given during such sessions. These documents would be public records, subject to inspection and copying. These are not what has been happening. More than these very few exceptions are you taking liberties with, and it's illegal, and it has got to stop.
Lou Navarra, former teacher, long-term resident. I'd like to say one good thing tonight about the board. I like your recognition. I've seen that at Sarasota School Board several years ago when I went to complain that they threw out our trophies for winning state and conference in '61 golf team. And then they don't put our placard at the anchor. But let's move on. How are we doing for my $60,000 a year starting salary for teachers? Now, I've been talking about the sales tax. It's regressive. They're having windfall profits, and you can't build buildings without teachers. Now, I know Governor DeSantis wants to give a magnanimous bonus of $1,000, and bonuses are technically illegal because this is a nonprofit organization, but that's okay. I'm trying to find you money. I saw all these fancy buses the other day. They got LEDs and everything. You're wasting money. And then, what else? Oh, we got Governor DeSantis. I found out why he doesn't particularly like teaching. He only taught a year social studies at a boarding school. Then he went back to Yale for his law degree. I want to talk about triple dippers, though. And we got to make a position, it said in the breeze, for Dr. Savage. Dr. Atkins will be coming back because his year will be up, and where are we going to put all these people? Everybody's stepping over each other. You got so many duplicates, even in security. There we could save a lot of money. Go to tripledippers.org. My buddy there, he spent time and lots of money on it. You'll find out. Communications, they still are ignoring me, and I've had quite a few requests. When are you going to shape that up? And I know a board member would help me and someone else, but I've been busy with other complaints. But we'll get to that. You need to shape it up. They're violating the law, folks. They really are. I know they figure, well, you know, who's going to sue us? We got to complain to the state attorney and that. All right. So can we save some money? How are we doing toward the $60,000 goal? Remember, you're not going to need buildings when you can't get teachers. You're not listening. Finally, my book tonight is for Mary Fisher. She quit calling me, I guess because she knows she's in retirement. Lame duck. Shame on you, Mary. I love you, though. How to retire happy. Why?
Good evening, Kirsty DiVigili. So I'm going to share that infamous letter that was mentioned earlier because, and I'm a little disappointed because I sent a public records request into our district, and I'm still waiting for even just a response. And all it took was a couple of phone calls to get this letter that I asked from you guys. Anyway, it says, Dear Superintendent Savage, it was recently brought to the department's attention that during the Lee County School Board workshop on April 26, 2022, there were conversations about ways to circumvent the upcoming requirements set forth in House Bills 7, 1467, and 1557. It is important to remember that state law supersedes school board policies, and school districts must adhere to all Florida statutes and rules. During the workshop, you reminded attendees that the district must follow the law, and I trust that you will recommend the appropriate changes to ensure that all school board policies align with Florida statutes and rules. Section 1001.49 Florida statutes requires you, as superintendent, to recommend to the district school board for adoption such policies pertaining to the district school system. This also includes making recommendations that existing policies be updated to ensure that they remain compliant with state law. It is your responsibility to set the example for every employee of the Lee County School District and ensure that ethical decisions are being made. I trust that you will ensure that all Lee County School Board policies follow state law, including the upcoming requirements set forth in House Bills 7, 1467, and 1557. Sincerely, Jacob Oliva with the Florida Department of Education. Now that Superintendent Savage is no longer, Superintendent Savage, this now translates to Dr. Bernier. And I'm sure he's listening, if not here. At this meeting, at the April 26th meeting, you were told that if you wanted to find loopholes for not following these House bills, that we would find patches. Well, these are those patches. And all of this information here is factual information that you guys gave this to the state yourself. So there's now a relationship that has been formed between the community and the Board of Education. So yes, you are now on their radar. I suggest we stop trying to circumvent the law and simply follow it like we say we do. Thank you. Have a good night.
Good evening. When an employee has to request whistleblower protection from a board member, I find that they are extremely courageous for taking that step. The contents of a particular whistleblower complaint that I became aware of and other complaints that stem from Chris Patrica should not be a surprise to anyone, but yet I found this particular complaint so appalling and disturbing that Chris Patrica would demand that the school board attorney interfere with a federal investigation where an IAQ vendor is being investigated by Homeland Security over perhaps hundreds of thousands of dollars to millions of dollars that could possibly have been malfeasance. The interference that was requested from Patrica was for her subordinate, her employee, to obtain information, perhaps as a favor to her preferred vendor who helped her campaign, and the attempts to coerce the board attorney into calling Special Agent Calvary to obtain information from him could have possibly aided Patrica's preferred vendor, and I find that criminal. This board has an ethical responsibility and moral responsibility to prevent the abuse of power and the abuse of position. What you have here is a rogue board member that is using her position to benefit another individual, and this board member has consistently used her position to threaten, to coerce many individuals, not only employees, not only other board members, but private citizens in the community. And you as a board, I know you don't have the authority to investigate a board member, but you have a duty and an obligation to report any kind of criminal behavior. And this is criminal behavior. She needs to be reported to public agencies, and this is not, mind you, the first time that your board attorney has been making claims of being bullied, intimidated, or threatened. In March of 2021, Ms. Patrica brought forth false allegations of me and Ms. Bruno, and she was trying to insist or make allegations that I should be arrested. In November, Ms. Patrica again made false allegations that I was attacking her children, when in fact she attacked my child, who lives with a disability, a life-threatening disability. And I'm not afraid of you, Chris Patrica. Maybe those board members up there are, but if they don't do their job tonight, I promise you, you will be reported.
Madam Chair, there are no, there's one more speaker, Randy Scott.
Good evening.
Hello, everybody. My name is Randy Scott. I was driving by tonight. I wasn't planning on being here, but I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting that, forgiveness is really our call, right? When I was non-renewed from this district, we all know why that was. We understand the board took a unanimous vote to remove me from the Finance Advisory Committee because I was one of the few who stood up against Ms. Patrica's, not personality, but her numbers with the sales tax. It was wrong. We said it was $59 million a year. I told you it was going to be $1 billion over 10 years. It isn't just Ms. Patrica, it's her supporting cast of characters, because each one of you received my letter, you've seen my complaint, and you've ignored it. Because this is really about money. It isn't really about the LGBTQ anymore. It isn't about having CRT in the schools. I really believe it's nice to recognize a National Day of Prayer, but I think we should recognize a National Day of Taxpayer Rights. This board, along with diversions in the community, has created issues that we ignore the fact that that ballot language was fraudulent. It was fraudulent. It did not comport with the law. Where does that bring us today? It brings us to Governor DeSantis activating the political process. And I'm kind of a rule of law person first. That's why the likelihood of me ever standing before community voters and getting their support will be weak. But I rest in good hands knowing when our country was founded, Benjamin Franklin acknowledged that that would occur, that people will vote for the benefits that they can get from their government. And we're seeing it with parents voting for transportation. We're seeing it with employees voting for more money. We're seeing for parents who don't want to take the responsibility to bring their own kids to school. There's a lot of people who are looking for the dough from this district. A lot of people, and I think that that's a shame. Now, illegal immigration is costing this district $200 million a year. $200 million a year. And it's a political question because in 2014, when we began the thrust of building schools, it was due to President Obama's letter telling us under the Plyler decision that we must accept and pay for illegal immigrants. Now, that's a policy decision that we're going to probably have to readdress because I think the taxpayers are sick and tired of paying for other people's education who are not a part of our country. Chris, I forgive you.
Madam Chair, there's no more public comments.
Thank you. I just have a few things to mention. Ms. Lori, they are still working on the code of conduct, and so that is not something that is complete. That is, it's ongoing and it's still being worked on, just so that you know, and it will be out there. The community is still very much engaged in that and making sure that we are looking at every aspect of the code of conduct. Let's see. And as far as, I know the letter was brought up a few times and mentioned, we absolutely, as a board, will not circumvent any of the laws. We understand that there are laws that are sent down to us. We will adhere to that. Our attorney is working on our policies and making sure that we are updated with that so that there are no loopholes in there. So we make sure that everything is covered in there as per state law. So I wanted to make sure that that was out there. Mr. Primurno, do you have anything else that you want to say regarding the policies that we are working on for those three, especially 7, 1467, and 1557?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The only thing that I would add is we were intending to present a guide on the 24th. However, we want more community input, so there are individuals that will be providing feedback to us with regards to these policies, and hopefully that will ensure that the community feels comfortable with regards to the guide and the policies that are coming forward. We will abide by the law. We will not circumvent the law. We will not find any loopholes or patches with regards to the law. We will make sure that 1557, 7, and 1467 are adhered to in our policies.
Thank you. Just wanted to make sure that that was clear, that we are definitely moving on that. And seeing that, the next is the approval of the action items in this agenda under consent. The documentation for action items listed under consent is made available to the board members 7 business days prior to the board meeting. We are expected to review all the materials, and we have an opportunity to speak with the superintendent. And I must say too, Dr. Savage is the superintendent and will remain the superintendent till the May 16th upon the swearing in of Dr. Bernier. So there was a comment that we do not have a superintendent, but he is definitely our superintendent. Sorry, sideline there. With any questions, we may speak with the superintendent with any questions we may have regarding the recommendations. Some of these items have also been briefed or workshopped with the board in advance of appearing on the action item. Again, today we did not have a workshop that was scheduled. It would have been our normal briefing. There was no items on the briefing. That's why we did not have a briefing this afternoon. That was something that someone had mentioned, so I wanted to clarify that as well. I'd rather clarify things so people are aware of what is taking place versus going out and assuming that other things are happening. Board members, are there any agenda items you wish to pull for discussion under the unfinished business table items portion of the agenda? And I'm going to start with Ms. Morgan.
I have none.
Thank you. Ms. Vaughn?
I have none.
Ms. Gittens?
I have none, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Patrica?
No, thank you.
Ms. Fisher?
I have no,
Oh, sorry, Giovanelli. I don't know why your name is this, the way it's written. Ms. Giovanelli?
I have none.
Thank you. And Ms. Fisher?
And I have none this evening.
And I will fix that because you're always, I know you don't like to be called first. Is there a motion to approve the, and I have none. Is there a motion to approve the agenda's consent action items with the exception? We don't have any exceptions. So, is there a motion to approve? Ms. Vaughn?
I move to accept the consent items as listed.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Second by Ms. Fisher. And please record your vote. And Ms. Morgan, how would you like to vote, please?
Aye, although I think I am able to vote remotely.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I don't think is yours up, ladies? Yes. Okay. Is everyone able to vote?
Yes.
I apologize, it's taken a few minutes longer than normal.
It won't post.
Ms. Thompson, do you see that?
Madam Chair, 7-0.
Thank you. 7-0, motion carries. Dr. Carlin, please introduce any administrators in attendance with a new assignment that were approved under the consent agenda.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's my pleasure to introduce two administrators who are here with us this evening. We'll start with Leanne Kane, who is moving from Assistant Principal, Island Coast High School, to Trafalgar Middle Principal. Please stand. It is also my privilege to announce Dr. Mike Galbraith, who is moving from Trafalgar Middle Principal to Professional Development Principal on Assignment. Congratulations.
Congratulations to both of you. At this time, if you'd like to stay with us, we'd love to have you, but please feel free, if you're ready to leave, you're welcome to leave as well. And thank you all for being here. Thank you to our staff over here, too. We appreciate you all. Okay. Okay, we are at the public hearing. And Dr. Carlin, are you ready for that? Please present your recommendation for this evening's public hearing item.
Madam Chair, so item P1, approval to adopt the annual instructional materials for 6 through 12 health, Glencoe Teen Health 2014, and Glencoe Health Florida Edition 2014.
Thank you. We will now recess the regular school board meeting and open the public hearing as indicated. The public hearing this evening is to consider approval to adopt the annual instruction materials for 6th through 12th Health, Glencoe's Teen Health 2014, and Glencoe's Health Florida Edition 2014. At this time, the public will be invited to speak on this one item. The time allowed for the comment is 3 minutes. Is there anyone that would like to address the board regarding this one item? If anybody would like to address the board, please. Is there anyone that would like to address the board? And I'm going to ask one more time. Is there anyone that would like, please take, I'm going to ask 3 times to make sure that everyone has an opportunity. Well, I always want to make 3 times, 3 chances, just in case.
Actually,
And it works.
No, Denise Nystrom. Actually, I just wanted to say thank you. I really didn't know it. It was Christy told me that you included a number of opt-outs in that information. So thank you.
Thank you. So I'm assuming that that was the only public comment, so thank you. At this time, the public comment, the public will be, I already invited you. I will now close this public hearing and reconvene the regular school board meeting of May 10th, 2022. Dr. Carlin, please reinstate your recommendation for this evening's public hearing item.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Approval to adopt the annual instructional materials for 612 Health, Glencoe Teen Health 2014, and Glencoe Health Florida Edition 2014.
Thank you. You have heard the superintendent's recommendation that the board approve to adopt the annual instruction material for 6 through 12 Health, Glencoe Teen Health 2014, and Glencoe Health Florida Edition 2014. Board members, is there a motion to approve?
I move that we approve this.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Ms. Giovanelli. Is there any discussion? Ms. Fisher?
Yes. As a longtime advocate of comprehensive health education and life skills learning, I am very pleased to support this evening.
Thank you. Ms. Morgan, did you have anything any comments?
No, I have none. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other comments, if you would please record your votes. Ms. Thomas, if it shows up before, let me know, please.
Madam Chair, 7-0, motion carries.
Thank you so much. So motion carries 7-0. The next on the board agenda is members' comments, and I am going to start with Ms. Fisher. Please, and thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Jordan. I'll be brief. First, I want to thank our students for their work this year and the diligence and success that they've had, and congratulate them for finishing some FSA testing today. I want to thank the parents and the community for their support, and I want to appreciate our hardworking staff for all that they do to keep things going. Again, as a longtime advocate of comprehensive health education, I'm pleased to support tonight's instructional materials and hope that we will continue until we fully implement the state-mandated comprehensive health education K through 12. I wish everyone a good night and thank the public for their comments.
Thank you, Ms. Fisher. And Ms. Giovanelli.
Yes.
Please.
Okay, I know Dr. Savage is not here this evening, but I just want to thank Dr. Savage for his service, his leadership, and his hard work for the past year. He stepped up and picked up the ball and led our led our district for the past year, and I know it's been a very challenging and difficult year, and I appreciate the sacrifice that he and his family made for this past year, and I know that there's a lot more that we're going to see of Dr. Savage and the good things that he will continue to do in our district, and I'm excited for that. I also want to bring up, I'm going to be real quick. I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but I think we need to address the complaint that was given to us yesterday. And I don't want to have any discussion. I just would like, I don't want to kick this can down the road. I think we need to act swiftly as a board and to protect our employee and to avoid any additional costs for a conflict attorney and just have a discussion about this down the road. I want to recommend that we need to investigate it immediately. And I am making a motion tonight. I move to investigate the whistleblower complaint that was given to us yesterday, and the investigation should be performed by the investigators that are currently investigating the two complaints that they presently are working on. And that's my motion.
I will second.
Thank you. And Ms. Giovanelli, do you have that written so that way they can?
I do.
You do have that? Thank you so much. Because I know I did not write that fast enough as you speak.
And I apologize for short notice. However, I spoke to the conflict attorney today at like about 4:45, then I had to be here shortly thereafter, so I wasn't able to communicate that to anyone. But my concern is if we have another special meeting and having a conflict attorney here to discuss to have an investigation, that will cost us quite a bit of money just paying for the conflict attorney. To avoid that process and step, I just want to have the motion now to address this and have the investigation done to nip this in the bud immediately.
Thank you. And is there discussion, please? Ms. Gittens?
Yes, I just briefly want to say.
Can I just please just say, let's not make sure that nobody's naming names. I just want to put that out there. But go ahead, Ms. Gittens.
Okay. I just want to say that the issues that have been brought to us in the last day or so are not things that have just started. There's systemic issues that are consistently going on. My main concern is when I sat as the board chair, I was very often told that I only had the right to run the meetings and do follow through on anything that the board as a whole chose to do. That there was always a consensus, there was always, if the board chooses is what I was told more often than not. I'm concerned that things have changed and board members are telling chair and chair is doing things on their own, and very seldom do we have the consensus of the board, and then when we try to do that, we're told, no, you don't need to do a consensus. I'm concerned that we're just really falling off the rails. We have policies, we have job descriptions for the chair and for each of us in our role, and there are so many things that happen that we find out after the fact because another board member and the chair have decided this is what we're going to do. So I think we need to get back to at least some modicum of where we were when I was sitting in the chair and was told that the chair acts at the request of the board, not a board member. And go ahead.
I just want to respond to that. As the chair, I do act as at the pleasure of the board. I do not have one-on-one with any certain people, period, to make any kind of decisions. And as far as the emails regarding this incident, because we're speaking on the motion that Ms. Giovanelli has just brought up.
And it was my turn to speak, and I think I had the opportunity to finish my statement.
Right, but I just wanted to clarify what you were putting out there. So thank you. Go ahead, Ms. Gittens.
I said nothing about having private meetings. I said that there were instructions given from time to time that the rest of us were not privy to. And I don't want to have an argument up here. That's not good for anybody. I am stating my concerns as a board member. And I think I made it very clear. I did not say names. I just said as a board, we need to return to our obligations and the way that it's set up, policies and procedures. There have been several times that we've sat up here and someone has said, oh, the chair can do this, and it just happens. There's no consensus, there's no discussion, And on several occasions, there are some board members that will very often just say, superintendent, do this, or chair, do this. And we just need to follow our own policies and procedures so that everyone is involved at all times in everything that we do. That is my statement. Thank you.
Ms. Vaughn, do you have something in response?
Yes, I'm
Thank
going
you
to
so much.
of course.
Thank you.
Through the chair, I'd like Mrs. Giovanelli to repeat her motion so that I do have some other things that I want to say, but I want to be sure that I, in particular, address the motion that she has put forward. So would you mind, please?
I don't mind. I move to investigate the whistleblower complaint that was given to us yesterday. The investigation should be performed by the investigators that are currently investigating the 2 complaints that we presently have.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to refresh my memory. I'm going to start by saying I agree totally with everything that Ms. Gittens said, but I want to be really specific on this particular motion. The things, and has this, I guess I need to ask Mrs. Dupree-Bruno, has this become public? I know it was given to us as confidential, so I want to be sure that what I say is within the realm of what I'm allowed to say, or...
So, Ms. Dupree-Bruno cannot speak on this matter.
I was going to ask for a 5-minute recess.
So we would need a 5-minute recess, and I would have to then call conflict attorney for them to be on the phone with us.
Would that, okay, because all I'm asking for is a yes or a no, whether it's been, if it's become public.
Madam Chair, point of order. I would like to know when we retain the services of a conflict attorney without any discussion of the rest of the board.
Okay, Ms.
Can we, point of order, can we deal with my question first?
But
I believe that Ms. Vaughn has a question out, and I
called point of order because you said
okay,
that you would call.
I would need to, because Ms. Dupree-Bruno has already reached out to a conflict attorney.
Okay.
So because she has reached out to one, they have reached out to all of us. Okay, so it left messages for those who they could not reach, but everybody received a phone call from an individual because a certain person had reached out to them who is not me. So, Ms. Vaughn, I believe that it may have gone. I cannot attest to that because I believe...
I'm sorry, it may have what?
You just asked, was information sent out to the public?
No, but that we can say out loud. I know what was sent to us, and I did talk with that attorney this afternoon. I'm just reassuring myself that anything and everything I say, and you know I'm a very candid person, is okay to say.
Well, I was told today when they contacted me that if this comes up, because Ms. Dupree-Bruno cannot speak on anything, so we would have to call for a recess, get the conflict attorney on the phone, and they would be part of this meeting. If there's conversation to be had. Based on, Ms. Giovanelli has a motion out here.
Well, I want to talk about her motion. I want to talk on her motion. I don't really see the necessity of a... I'll tell you what, I'm just going to go ahead and speak, and if there's a problem, just stop me. All right? It has, it's no secret that this board has been, and the 7 of us have been together for almost 4 years now. There was no turnover at the 2020 election. It's no secret that from day one of the time when we had 3 brand-new members come on board, that there was turmoil, there were, and I can say from my own point of view that I was, let's say, prodded. I was threatened at one point by a board member. And I was a teacher for many years, high school teacher, and I'm also a very outspoken person. And very early on, the people that were thinking they could manipulate me gave up. And their attempts to intimidate me, let's say, went underground a couple years ago with an ethics complaint that was dismissed, that was orchestrated in part by a member of this board. There was much earlier than that a watermarking issue that came in. This is during Dr. Atkins, really early, and there was one board member that wholeheartedly supported the illegal action of a member of staff, tried to undermine things that I said, and was specifically undermining another one of my board colleagues, pointing a finger. One more time, I'm going to give another example of not very long ago, when there was a prior staff attorney who, let's just say he wasn't a fan of me, who decided that a hearsay piece that was sent in to our hotline was legally, it was substantive and could be followed through. Well, it was a double hearsay. I'm no attorney, but it was real obvious that, hey, let's do it. We can choose several people. It could have been Mr. Bruno. It could have been Vaughn as well, because some anonymous person out there heard this. Somebody told her. And so I've been, I don't want to use the word victim, because I don't feel like I've been victimized, because each time I've said, you know, this is bull. This is not true. I have nothing to hide. I have no guilt. And so, hey, put it out there. So I'm only saying all this, and I know I'm being long-winded, but I'm saying it to establish a pattern. It's a very disturbing pattern that started on this board from the day that 3 of us came on the board and shook up the balance of power. Now that has shifted somewhat, but there's still just this need to be in control. It's no secret that I'm not running for re-election. One of the big reasons is that's not what I signed up for. I signed up to help the children. I signed up to work with people, not to have people from this board go to staff members, badmouth me, and then hear through the grapevine certain staff members making fun of me, or, you know, I'm a troublemaker or whatever. I don't care. I have thick skin. I know what I am and who I am. So, this is a pattern. There is somebody on this board that has consistently, for 3.5 years, been the troublemaker. I can take it, but when that person is so arrogant that she bullies, harasses, threatens one of our board employees, not her board employee, not Miss Gittens' employee or Miss Jordan, not any one of us, but our employee, then I'm very disturbed. And I know that from firsthand information, I know that a similar pattern also happened with Dr. Savage, especially when he first became the interim. Let's do anything we can to undermine him and overthrow him, because he doesn't fit with our balance of power. We lost some of our favorite employees, the people that we loved and that supported us. And so I have about 6 or 7 months left on this board. And damn it, one thing I want to see done with this board before I leave is all of this nonsense to end. And for the board to be functional, not dysfunctional. And as I see it, it's the work of one particular board member that rises to the top of the pointing fingers. And so I absolutely support what Mrs. Giovanelli said in her motion. I will support that motion, and I will support anything that we can legally do to stop this corruption, this behavior that does not suit the decorum of this dais. I'm done.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Is there any other comments?
No clapping.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Ms. Morgan, and then Ms. Patrica. Ms. Morgan?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to say that I do agree with Ms. Gittens that it is critical to have credibility that this board act in accordance with its policies and protocols. For that reason alone, I will not entertain a motion that was not brought to the board until the meeting. We have a way of work. That way of work is not being adhered to, and the way board members are conducting themselves, speaking with vitriol about one board member, attacking, using ugly words at the board table is just, it's more than disappointing. It's disheartening. I am without words that this group of women are unable to conduct themselves in a professional manner in resolving matters of concern to everyone. And those are my comments.
Thank you. Ms. Patrica?
I 100% completely and totally agree with Ms. Giovanelli and believe that this should be investigated at the earliest possible moment. That being said, I lack legal advice in this moment as to whether I need to recuse myself in this vote, because there's no legal counsel in this district that can advise me.
Okay.
Mr. Quick is on the phone.
Board Member Patrica, I think that you can vote on this. The issue is whether it ignores special a special private gain or loss, which under the statute is an economic benefit. And as I understand it, I don't think that it's an economic issue for you right now, as I understand it.
Excellent. And may I ask a second question through the chair?
Yes.
I don't, when we talk about an investigator that's handling 2 other cases, I'm not aware of what that is. So what are we talking about there?
Mr. Prebrunner, can you respond to that? That there's 2 other investigations?
I don't know the specifics, but as I understand it, there are
thank you, Dr.
2 external investigators currently employed by the district that are looking into matters. Even if I knew the specifics, I wouldn't necessarily want to go into them on the dais, but I understand that there are 2 investigators that are looking into various complaints that had been filed. And I think, I'm sorry, I wasn't on for the beginning of this, but I think that's what you're asking about.
Very good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Quick, can you stay with us for, because I'm going to have to go into public comments? And Ms. Fisher, did you raise your hand? I'm sorry.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. My comment is that I agree that we need to follow our policies and procedures like we haven't been doing. And on the advice of conflict counsel, I have no further comment.
Thank you. So, Ms. Gittens?
Okay, I want to make sure I'm clear on what the motion is. The motion, what I understand, is to look into using a conflict attorney. Is that okay? Or look into the situation that was brought to us.
The motion is to move to investigate the whistleblower complaint with conjunction to the other two.
Not necessarily,
Go ahead,
just to use
please.
those investigators that
Use
are
those
presently at the district.
Okay, and those investigators are conflict attorneys?
They're investigating something else for the district, which he cannot speak on because it's an investigation.
Okay, no, the question in the complaint and the email that followed from one of the board members talked about a conflict attorney. So the question in my mind was whether we are going to hire or retain a conflict attorney.
Mr. Preberto.
That part I can address, Madam Chair. There is already a retainer for Vice-Rota John Quick to be the conflict attorney in case I need one.
That's all I needed to know. So this is specifically just to deal with the whistleblower complaint that we were presented with.
That is correct. That is the motion that Ms. Giovanelli has requested.
And may I, through the chair, Mr. Quick? Mr. Quick?
Yes.
Okay. My question is that in this investigation, will we all individually get an opportunity to share our experiences in this situation?
I mean, ultimately that will be up to the investigator that is retained. I imagine that he or she would speak with each of you. But ultimately that will be determined by the investigator, but I would imagine so, yes.
I think it's imperative. Thank you.
Okay. Seeing no other questions, we will now open it up for public comments. Because this is a motion, if there's anyone that would like to speak, please go to the podium. Thank you. And if you will please state your name before you speak, that would be great. Thank you.
My name is Lori Brown. I want to thank those of you who are speaking up, and I totally support you guys investigating what was brought to you yesterday. Stay strong and do what's right. That's what's important.
Denise Nystrom, I'm glad that I'm going to be able to restate what I wanted to say earlier. When I started attending board meetings over a year ago, I was an observer trying to figure out what was really going on with the decision-making on the part of the board, the superintendent, and the board attorney. Unfortunately, I learned that the decisions were not always about the children, but about control of money and employees. This is not just my speculation, and it has nothing to do with which political side of the aisle you belong to. If anybody has watched the last years of YouTube videos or regularly attended school board meetings, then you know that board members Giovanelli, Vaughn, and Gittens have expressed that they have been assaulted, harassed, and intimidated by fellow board members, specifically Patrica. And this has been observed by the public as well. Last May, we the people thwarted a well-organized attempt on the part of Patrica, Morgan, Fisher, and Jordan to hire interim superintendent Vicki Cartwright as opposed to Dr. Savage. Cartwright was then hired in Broward as an interim and was the first person that defied Governor DeSantis's mask mandate, a mask lack of mandate. Mrs. Fisher, I have heard that you were a fabulous guidance counselor. And I do not understand why an esteemed educator and community member such as yourself makes the decisions you do. It has long been a confusion in my mind. Dr. Savage was not a welcomed interim superintendent. He knew where the skeletons were buried, and he could unbury them. Last September, we learned that Fisher, Patrica, Morgan, and Jordan were going to fire Superintendent Savage, and we thwarted the attempt. The public thwarted the attempt. We witnessed Patrica at board meetings publicly chastising a resident, Jackie Perez, and utilizing the district's communication department to send a disparaging report to all of the news stations about Jackie Perez, because Jackie Perez fights the corruption. Within the last few days, Patrica asked Attorney Bruno to interfere with a federal Homeland Department investigation, and I applaud Attorney Bruno, who took an oath of office for standing up for herself. I have a lot of respect for that. I understand recently that there was an attempt to downgrade Dr. Savage's position, and that other district employees, such as Chief Officer Robert Dodik's position, has been questioned about what might happen to him in the future. This is the kind of intolerable, divisive behavior that absolutely has to end. So if members of the public do their homework, they're going to understand that there is a very, very big picture that has gone on here for a very long time that needs to stop. And you know what? Since it's always a 4-3 vote, the vote falls on Debbie Jordan once again. Her good conscience once again. Will she do the right thing?
Can we please, we have to make sure that we are speaking on the motion at hand, which is, Ms. Giovanelli, will you please restate that motion? I apologize to keep asking you to repeat that.
That's okay. I move to investigate the whistleblower complaint that was given to us yesterday. The investigation should be performed by the investigators that are currently investigating the 2 complaints that we presently have.
Thank you, Ms. Giovanelli. Sorry for that.
Good evening. There should be no question from anyone on this board on what you should be doing. You have an obligation to an employee who has cried out to you that she is in a hostile work environment. You have an obligation to protect the employees of this district. There's no question. You might see maybe 20, 30 people here tonight, but I assure you, this will be in the media. This will be all over social media. So those of you seeking re-election, better think twice on how you vote tonight, because it will be held against you. Your obligation, again, is to protect the employees. You live, you breathe, you thrive in a culture of corruption, hostile work environment. Whistleblowers are continuously targeted. Let's make change. Let's do something right for the first time. Collectively, all of you vote to protect this woman here who bravely came forward. Because as I recall in 2019, when Chris Patrica gave a great speech that was all false allegations against her fellow board member, she demanded that she get investigated. She actually coerced other employees to put a false ethics allegation and complaint against her. So let's remember that. And just yesterday, Kathleen Morgan stressed the point on who is investigating the fraud that's going on with this money, with the FTE dollars. Well, Ms. Morgan, here is the fraud. You had your co-board member coercing, intimidating, bullying your board attorney into giving information about a vendor who is being investigated for malfeasance. What more do you want? You should be protecting the integrity of that investigation. And someone on that board needs to email that complaint to Special Agent, Federal Agent Brian Calvary. He needs to know that his investigation was compromised. And that is important because we do not know if the tentacles of that board member reached over to potential witnesses that he has been interviewing, and if they have been intimidated, there has to be an investigation. There is no question that there should not be an investigation.
Christy DiVigili. You know, there's not much more that I could say to follow up the people before me. So I'm just going to say that You guys are, there's a nickname for the Lee County School District. It's called the Game of Thrones. And it's been given this nickname due to how it treats its employees. And it's obviously no employee is, well, any better than the next. It doesn't matter if you are a paraprofessional or the board attorney. You can and will be retaliated against in the Lee County School District. I've spoken to countless teachers. I've spoken to 5 just this month who are scared to come forward with the information that they have. Just this month, I've spoken to 5 in 5 different schools. I'm one person. If I'm one person that has spoken to 5 people, 5 teachers in our district who have enough complaints to where they want to leave, and it goes all the way up to our board attorney, somebody has to set an example here. And that's your job to do. You have an opportunity here to not sit there and make excuses and say, well, we should be abiding by board policy. Board policy states that you don't commit fraud, waste, and abuse. That's what board policy says. And board policy also says that you investigate when these things take place. It doesn't say that because you did not submit your motion with due enough time so that everyone could review it and then give their critiques, and then we have a workshop and a briefing and an action about it. No. When an investigation needs to take place, you do your jobs. It doesn't need to be in the correct order. You do it right then and there. Set a good example for everybody else in the district. Set a good example for those 5 teachers that I spoke to this week who are afraid to come forward with their stories. Set a good example for the teachers that I know that Denise has spoken to in the last month. Set a good example tonight by making a good decision right now. Not a 4-3, not a 5-2. Even Ms. Patrika in the middle said, yes, please, let's investigate. So by all means, this should be a no-brainer. We should see a 7-0 to investigate. Please, ladies, do the right thing.
Thank you. Seeing there's no other public comments, we will go ahead and take a hand vote on this. Correct, Ms. Thompson? Ms. Thomas? Ms. Vaughn?
Yes.
Ms. Gittens?
Yes.
Ms. Patrika?
Yes, please.
Ms. Giovanelli?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Ms. Morgan?
No.
And yes, 6 to 1. Motion carries. So, Mr. Quick, if I can ask you to please take care of this?
Will do, absolutely.
Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate you being here, and thank you for being available for us to call.
Anytime.
Wait,
Have a good evening.
Mr. Quick, just a second, please. I think Ms. Giovanelli had a question.
So, and I have a second motion.
Oh, give a second motion? Okay.
Yeah, my second motion is I move to censor Board Member Chris Patrika until the whistleblower complaint can be investigated and completed.
My second.
So, Ms. Dupree-Bruno, is that something that Mr. Quick has to deal with, or is that something that you can do?
I will defer to Mr. Quick.
I'm sorry?
I will defer to Mr. Quick since it's related to the complaint.
Okay.
The motion was to censor the board member?
Sure.
Yes.
I don't think that's within the board's power to do that. I mean, I think, and I was asking because I couldn't tell if it was censure or censor.
Censure.
But I don't think the board has the power to censor another board member to prohibit her from speaking at the board meetings and potentially conducting duties on things unrelated to this, such as personnel issues or anything like that.
Ms. Giovanelli?
There is a law on that where a board can censure a board member. And my concern is that we have to make sure and protect that our present employee that I spoke to her, and she was very concerned over the situation, and we cannot continue. We have a duty to protect and to make employees feel comfortable, and including the staff throughout the district. And this is only leading by example. And we have to make sure that they know that there will not be any retaliation on them for them doing their job. So it's vital that they have that ability and that freedom to do their job without retaliation. And I don't want to talk any more than that if I have to. But there is a law, and I can go, if you wanted to give it 5 minutes, I can go and I'll send that to Mr. Quick.
And now, are you saying, I guess my question is, are you saying censure as in
Yes.
a censure would be basically expressing, significant disapproval of something? Or are you saying censor, C-E-N-S-O-R, so I think you're correct in terms of censure. So part of it, I think, is maybe just hearing on my end.
Correct. I think so. It's just censure.
Okay, I understand censure. Okay, I understand. I thought it was censor. I apologize.
So, Mr. Quick?
Do I need to go and get you the law?
No, I understood your term differently, which is a completely different legal term. So I apologize on that. So censure, C-E-N-S-U-R-E,
yes.
Which would be expressing basically significant disapproval or severe disapproval.
So you're saying that that's something that she can ask for?
I do know that there is a law out there. I think it came out of the Supreme Court permitting it relatively recently. That it is permissible to censure a school board member. I think it was, I can't remember where it came out of, maybe Tennessee or something like that. But that is potentially an avenue, yes.
Okay, so do you need a few, I want to make sure that we're doing whatever is legal, because we want to make sure that we're not changing anything or doing something that we're not supposed to. So do you need a moment to look that up, or do we need to take a few minutes recess so that way you can have clarity on that?
No, I don't. Just so that the board is aware that the law, the Supreme Court opinion, this came out, I think, about 2 months ago. It's a fairly narrow one. It's purely a verbal censure that the Supreme Court said was potentially authorized, for a board to do.
And I guess do we need explanation of what that, well, let's get a second first. Do we have a second on that?
Before.
Thank you.
And do you repeat my motion?
Well, I just want to make sure that we have clarity of what that means.
It would mean basically a verbal censure would be if this were voted on by a majority of the board, would be an expression of from the school board, a verbal expression of the school board of disapproval of whatever the specified acts are, which I assume, based on this motion, are the allegations laid out in the whistleblower complaint.
That is correct.
Okay.
So there's no, just so they're clear, there's not a punishment that comes from it. It's a verbal censure that would come from the board.
Okay, so that's something that we're assuming prior to an investigation? An assumption, or?
In the current motion, yes, it's being proffered before prior to that, yes.
Ms. Gittens?
Okay, yes, I seconded the motion, and the reason is, and I do want to say that I don't believe that I spoke with vitriol. I have been spoken to with vitriol for 3.5 years, and with no resources to help with that. I want to publicly say to the attorney that I personally understand, and the reason I understand, I have gone through the same thing. And I just want to make sure that there is no retaliation, no vitriol, because I know that it can and has happened. So that is why I'm supporting the motion, to make sure that at least we have it on record that we are aware of the potential and that we as a board stand on the fact that we hope that that will not continue to happen in the future.
Thank you, Ms. Gittens. And Ms. Vaughn, please.
Yeah, I want to clarify something before we go for the vote. What is Ms. Morgan's status in terms of being able to vote? Earlier, she mentioned that she didn't know that she was able to vote, and yet she's been voting.
Ms. Morgan is able to vote pursuant to Board Policy 1.11.
And could you repeat that policy so that the...
It's right here. It's Board Policy
1.11. As I'm in the middle of saying...
Oh, sorry, Ms. Vaughn.
Could you please repeat that policy so that the people here in the auditorium, as well as people at home, understand what that policy is?
Just to find, if you give me 1 second, I'll find the spot.
So I thought she said, I'm not able to vote.
No, she is able to vote.
Okay, I misunderstood then.
I said I wasn't able to vote.
On the machine.
Violation of agreed work order culture or protocol and policy.
What she said was she wasn't able to use the voting process that we
okay.
have.
I misunderstood.
But then later on, she said that she was.
I misunderstood.
So does that clarify that, Ms. Vaughn?
Yes. Although it doesn't, I know what the policy is. I wanted it repeated for the people here so that they know what the guidelines are for future reference. But I know what it is.
Mr. Bruno, did you find it?
I'm looking to find the right spot in the policy.
Okay, because
It's Board Policy 1.11, subsection 2C. Members may participate and vote by use of an interactive video and/or telephone system to allow a physically absent member of the board to attend the meeting in those instances where the board member is confined to home or hospital due to illness or accident, in those situations where the board member's absence is due to death or serious illness of a family member, and in those situations where the board member is required to be out of county due to business and commitments. So I don't think it's appropriate to go into further, but there is a policy that addresses that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to check up on her. I just thought that it would be useful for the public to understand. I know what it is. So thank you.
did you have any comments pertaining to the motion?
I support the motion.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Fisher, did you have any comments regarding the motion?
I have no comments.
Thank you. Ms. Patrica, do you have any comments?
If I may, through the chair, Attorney Quick, can I vote on this?
Yes, I think you can.
And this is a joke, this is not a real amendment, but may I amend the motion to include demanding an apology when the investigation shows that I've done nothing wrong? That's a joke. Those are my comments. Thank you.
At this, Ms. Moore.
I would love that opportunity, but Ms. Patrica, you never apologized to me when the false investigation that was done on me. So I don't think that this board owes you any kind of apology to make sure that we take care of our employees. And I don't see that.
Point of order.
Okay,
I would like
Miss.
to offer my comments, please.
Thank you. Go ahead, Ms.
My comment
Ms. Morgan.
is that I don't understand how we can censor someone based on allegations that have not been investigated. It's irrational. Those are my comments.
And Mr. Quick, that was the question that I had asked you.
It's not censor, it's
It's
censure.
censure.
Okay,
Sure.
thank you.
S-U-R-E, sure.
Ms. Gittens, because I'm going to go to public comment.
Okay. The rationale for me to go along with the motion is that I have proof. The same allegations that were made were done to me 3 times. And there was a witness.
Seeing no other comments, the floor is open. If anyone would like to comment on this motion, and it's just strictly about the motion that Ms. Giovanelli has brought forward. And please, Ms. Giovanelli, please state it again.
Yes.
Thank you.
I moved to censure board member Ms. Patrica until the whistleblower complaint can be investigated and completed.
Thank you.
Sorry.
And again, whoever steps up to speak, please, if you would not mind to state your name.
Before you take public comment, may I make one more?
Yep, one more. Go ahead, Ms.
I would have to agree that I think it's premature to censure me, but should the investigation show that I've done something wrong, I will welcome a censure.
Thank you. Sir, if you will please state your name before speaking. Thank you.
I'm Keith Olson.
Thank you.
I am so happy that you're taking up the second motion because it adds to the recognition of the board how serious this issue is. It's been a long-standing issue. There has been no positive change, it seems, through the years, and it is only re-emphasized by Ms. Patrica's joke, which indicates a lack of awareness of how absolutely serious this is. She has injured people, it continues to do so, continues to discredit, and any kind of abuse, if an abuser doesn't recognize what they're doing, doesn't realize the severity of what they're doing and the harm that they're doing to other people and their families, then hopefully with a censure, she will not do further harm to this whistleblower. However, if she chooses to, it more adds to her belligerence and her inability or unwillingness to do what is right. Thank you.
Denise Nystrom, as a point of information, the Supreme Court ruling with regard to censorship took place somewhere on or about March 24th, 2022. So that was a very recent Supreme Court decision. Just want you to know that. I want to thank Board Member Fisher, Board Member Jordan, Board Member Gittens, Board Member Giovanelli. I want to thank all of you for doing what was right. Thank you very much. For those people that are listening or those people that are here when they've heard the term watermarking, this was a huge, huge deal that occurred probably 4 years ago where 2 other district employees, Angela Pruitt and Andy Brown, in conjunction with Chris Patrica, actually took the emails of the rest of the board members and assigned numbers to them, as well as put those numbers. Excuse me. This speaks to her pattern of behavior.
Just the
This
names,
speaks to her pattern of behavior. That's what we're discussing here. See, we don't censure somebody unless there's a pattern of behavior. Because if somebody were to do something wrong once, then there's forgiveness. We've heard board member after board member state tonight the things that they've been up against for years. So please give me back my time and allow me to finish what I'm saying. And I'll wait.
didn't stop the clock. You want me to stop?
No, I think she felt that I interrupted her. Mr. Quick, can you stop the clock for a second, please? Mr. Quick, I know that you're not present. Look, you're present by phone, but I know that we'll make sure you do. That you spoke about making sure that names were not mentioned?
This was an old incident.
Right. No,
This is not a new incident.
Yes, I'm aware. Thank you.
Yeah, if there should not be any discussion over or identifying the complainant or the potential subject of any investigation. If this is something different than that, then that would not implicate those protections.
Thank you. I'm sorry. Could you please?
Oh, yes, that investigation is over.
Yeah. Could you please add?
You can 2 minutes, fine, please.
Take it to 2. It's fine. Thank you, Ms. Thomas.
Okay, so I am speaking with regard to a reference of a pattern of behavior in which all the board members were watermarked both on their emails and in their emblems on their stationery in an attempt to prove, falsely, by the way, that Mrs. Giovanelli was conspiring with vendors. By the way, those allegations were false. But basically what we're talking about today, there may very well be a board member that is conspiring with vendors. And that board member is Mrs. Patrica. So that's one incident. So we have Mrs. Giovanelli talking about incidents, board member Vaughn talking about incidents, board member Gittens talking about incidents, and I say that this conversation does involve Dr. Savage and does involve attorney Rob Jrotc, because it is a pattern of behavior, of divisiveness, to go against people that were put through board action and that work diligently in this district. And now we're looking at Attorney Bruno, and I've never seen her do anything up at that board but try to protect all of you. All of you. So I'm very disappointed about this. Chris Patrica has proven that she requires censuring through years and years of abuse. Again, board, I'm asking you to please set an example. Thank you.
Jacqueline Perez. I'm going to read from that Supreme Court case. School board groups, Friends of the Court brief, argued that censure is a necessary tool for the boards to respond to school board members who fail to come to meetings, disclose information that's confidential, interfere with school district staff, or engage in inappropriate behavior at the district, which could include interfering in the process of an investigation, bullying and intimidating staff. In many states, including Texas, censures or reprimands are the only tools at an elected board's disposal to publicly address a rogue board member's continued improper conduct, the brief stated. This is an exact definition of what you are experiencing here with Chris Patrica. You're not shutting her down, you're not taking away her First Amendment, you are just technically reprimanding her for her behavior. And her behavior has been a pattern. Again, I need to remind you that your attorney wrote you a letter and spoke to you individually in approximately July of last year that she was being bullied. So it's your responsibility to hold the same individual that she stated was intimidating her and bullying her responsible. And this is only a format, it's a formality. It does not deny her her rights. Chris Patrica could continue being the horrible person that she is and saying the things that she does, but you are acknowledging as a board that what she did was wrong. And let's remember RSM, who walked right off the contract. And I know you spoke to them, Debbie. You spoke about it at a meeting on how they were treated horribly and bullied. And Mary, you made the same comments at that workshop, and they all derived and came from Chris Patrica. So now is your perfect opportunity with this Supreme Court decision to try to make this board go on that straight path that it needs to be a real board. If you don't start holding each other accountable, who will? We've tried it for years, it hasn't worked. You have the opportunity at your hands. You're not binding her, you're not hanging her, you're not doing anything tragically that's going to reduce her rights, but do what's right. Tell her what she did was wrong. She should have never had a conversation requesting that the board attorney reach out to get information for that vendor and his attorney. That was inappropriate.
Christy DiVigili. I just don't want there to be any confusion when you guys do decide to vote as to what it is that you're voting for. So, censor versus censure. To censor means to remove, block, or interfere with the communication of another. That would be violating that person's First Amendment rights, or their rights. To censure, on the other hand, means to find fault with and criticize as blameworthy. Censure is a formal public group condemnation of an individual, often a group member, whose actions run counter to the group's acceptable standards for individual behavior. I think that's exactly what you guys need to do right now. I can see, and I have been able to see from the looks on all of your faces over the last 18 months, your disapproval with many of the things that have been said or done by Ms. Patrica. She herself is willing to go through this process, albeit it's because she thinks she's going to get off scot-free, and that's cool. But it is still your due diligence to say, hey, we don't think that this is acceptable behavior. And we recognize that this type of behavior has to end. And we're not associating ourselves with that. That's not how we, as a board, operate. That's all that this is. So I think it's a no-brainer, but I'm sure that the person on the phone is going to have something else to say about that. So I would just like to remind you, ladies, to just do the same thing you just did, which is the next right thing. Thank you.
Dr. Edward Drass. First, I want to state my support for both of your motions and to thank you for the courage to bring them forth. I think over the past months we've seen a lot of division on this board. I think this may help to bring some resolution. I think you need a full vote on this to bring a resolution to this issue, and I think you will reflect to the community, to your district employees, and to the parents how serious this issue is. You have our support in this, and we want to thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other speakers to come before this board, we will go into another hand vote. Ms. Morgan? Ms. Morgan, can Ms. Giovanelli?
Yeah,
I'm going to have Ms. Giovanelli restate it one more time, please.
I move to censure board member Ms. Chris Pacheco until the whistleblower complaint can be investigated and completed.
Thank you. Ms. Morgan?
Nay.
Ms. Vaughn?
Yes.
Ms. Gittens?
Yes.
Ms. Patrica?
No, thank you.
Ms. Giovanelli?
Yes.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
And yes. So motion carries. Ms. Giovanelli, do you have anything else?
I am done, other than we could save the taxpayers money by not investigating, and if Ms. Patrica would like to resign. Thank you.
Ms. Patrica?
Tough act to follow, but I'd like to bring the focus back to students and teachers. I received a text the other day from a brand-new resident of Lee County, a new neighbor of mine with whom I've spoken on several occasions about which school is best fit for her kids, that kind of thing. I want to read a text that she sent to me. OMG, I am watching the Golden Globe Awards for Lee County and just bawled my eyes out. It was incredible. Well done. I am so happy to be here. And I remember feeling the same way when I first moved to Lee County. I know that several people watched the Golden Apple Awards because it was after that stunning Kentucky Derby win. So I just wanted to share that with you all and let you know that we've got at least one new family that's here in Lee County. I'm very happy to be here. I attended the Jrotc Awards, which were really, really amazing, as always. I wonder whether we are still the largest JROTC program in the nation. I know that we were a couple years ago. I'm not sure whether we still are, but they did a great job. Really, really great job. Those kids are amazing. I attended an ECCL, Estero Council of Community Leaders, Estero Historical Society essay contest at Three Oaks Elementary School, and it was awesome. The winning student got up and read his essay, and I've got 4 kids in high school, and he wrote better than I probably shouldn't say that out loud, but most of them. And finally, I want to say that as a parent of a high schooler, a senior in high school this year, I have seen what our high school staff does. It's really, really amazing to me. They operate at this really high level, as do all principals and admin, high school in particular, because of all the after-school activities they have. But they operate at this really, really, really high level all year long. And then senior events kick in, and they have to shift it up an even higher gear. And seeing it as a parent, seeing the amount of effort that goes into it and the amount of time that these principals and assistant principals put into their schools, and the love they pour into the kids in order to help them be successful. Credit recovery, making sure Chromebooks are returned, making sure fees are paid, making sure library books are returned, not to mention all of the award nights that they are there to conduct. It's really, really amazing to me. I don't know how our principals, they must be exhausted. And when I said that to one of our principals, he said, well, it's really about our spouses and our partners supporting us in this. So thank you to our principals, and thank you to their families who support them. And those are my comments for this evening. Thank you.
And you also have one who's graduating.
I do have one, a parent of a senior, yes.
Yes, congratulations. Ms. Gittens?
I don't have a whole lot to say. I do want to reflect on the day of prayer and hope that everyone took at least a moment sometime during that day to think about something that we're alike instead of looking at things where we're different. And it hurts to think that we only have one day that we think about doing that. I think our whole world would be a better place if once a day everyone took a second, a moment to think about, what do I have in common with the people that are in this world with me? And it would be an example to our children. They need to see positive examples. I forgot the name of the student, so I'm not going to mention the memorial. You'll mention that, Ms. Jordan? The memorial that we went to for the student that was shot. It was a beautiful, beautiful situation. The football team and all of the members of his team. I'm sorry, I had written his name down and I forgot it. Yeah, I'll get, and I apologize to the family. But condolences to the family for that. But it was a beautiful ceremony to see kids at a candle lighting ceremony remembering a friend, and the look on some of their faces. We, as adults, have so much healing to do with our children. They've been through so much in the last 2 years, and tragedies and things just continue to happen. We really need to keep their mental state in mind and keep them lifted up and try to give them more happy days than sad days.
Last week was the last week for seniors, and I was at a couple of schools, a couple of high schools, and they were just giddy with the fact that they didn't have to come back even on the Friday, that it was their last day. And I just say thank you to all of the administrators and teachers and staff that made that day so special for so many of our students, and recognizing them with events and parties and pizza and all types of things to say that, you know, we appreciate you. And I will never forget when I was teaching high school, and those last few days for seniors are very difficult. The ones that have the 4-year scholarships and the jobs all lined up and know exactly what they're going to do, and a support system behind them if they stub their toe, are excited. The ones that don't have that, we still are that community. When we say it takes a village, it doesn't stop when they walk across the stage. They still need our support. So with that, seniors, if any of you are watching at this late hour, we'll see you on stage in a couple of weeks. And I thank you also to the teachers. There were a lot of different events. I was amazed some of the things that the administrators did and teachers did. And staff did for their teachers. They had every day was, and Ms. Giovanelli, I was at Lehigh Senior at East on Tuesday, and guess what it was? Taco Tuesday. And I said, wow, I need to call Ms. Giovanelli to come. So they still do have it sometimes. But all of the celebrations and all that, just to let our teachers and staff know that we really appreciate them. I keep saying what keeps me up at night is knowing if we're going to have enough of them there when we start in the fall. And I just, in that moment of silence that you do, ask that we do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ms. Vaughn.
It is these last 6 weeks or so, as the school year winds down, it is such a busy time for all of us. And of course, the district administrators and school principals are already looking to next year and, planning the schedules and all of that. Those of us on the board, we've had a plethora of events to choose from. Some of us went to the Restaurant Association luncheon that was excellent because the luncheon was catered, I guess you could say, by the culinary groups throughout the district, and they did an awesome job. Any of you who have had the pleasure of knowing Dr. Doug Santini might be aware that I guess 2 weeks ago, the Black Box Theater, a new Black Box Theater was opened at the North Fort Myers Academy for the Arts. And of course, he was one of their beloved principals for many, many years. And as a matter of fact, he was there, the present principal, and one that had preceded. So there were 3 of them there, and it was just, it was just lovely. And the middle school kids, they're so talented from that school. Of course, the Golden Apple has been mentioned. It's always such an elegant affair put on by the Foundation for Lee County Public Schools. They also do the programs, the Take Stock in Children programs, and that one's near and dear to my heart. They did the graduation just this past week, and I was a Take Stock in Children mentor for a couple years, so I know how important that program is, and they do such a wonderful job with it. Yes, the schools are winding down, and you know, you've heard me say a million times, I was a classroom teacher, mostly high school, for 38 years, and probably, I was trying to think, probably 30 of those years, I taught high school senior English, both the regular level, AP, different levels. And let me tell you, the English teachers and some of the others, there's always a lot of pressure because that's one of those classes that you have to pass. And if you don't graduate. So, you know, there's always really a lot of pressure on some of the teachers to make sure they're informing the parents and you know, prodding the kids and make sure you do this and that. And then on top of all of that, you're juggling what day you even have the kids, because all of the testing is this time for the AP, the Cambridge ACE, and the International Baccalaureate. So you might be ready to teach this class and, oh, nope, half of them are out on this, or I know FSA was just done. And so it's really this juggling act in between collecting. Well, I guess there are not as many books. See, this 8 years and it's changed. I guess there are not as many books to collect nowadays, good heavens, nowadays, because the kids have their Chromebooks, but the Chromebooks still have to be collected, et cetera. So, and you know, the seniors scrambling to pay their fines. You want to walk, you need to pay your $20 fine that you've owed since your first half of your sophomore year. Get that paid. Then graduations. As I said, I taught seniors for so many years, and not in this district, but in another district. For 5 years, I was a senior class advisor. And so I do want to say that with all of the senior recognitions that happen, of course, it's principals and APs that kind of on the top of the chain and directing things. But I can tell you that the counselors, the job of the counselors, make sure you count all those credits right, and you don't want to be a half credit shy or shy of one big course that you need it to graduate. So that's something. And you know, so many of the teachers are involved with graduation and graduation practice and the senior breakfasts and all the other things that are done. And I have to admit, I have never, ever missed grading essays, and especially those research papers. Oh my gosh. I would, yeah, the senior papers and all of that. But I do kind of miss, I really do miss the excitement of being with the kids when they're about to graduate. And as somebody referenced, some of them are just like, can't wait to get out of here. And others try to be really cool, but they're scared. And even some of the ones that say, I can't wait to get out of here, they're just succumbing to peer pressure and saying that sometimes, I think. And one of the things I am going to get to do next week is I'm going to be out at Lehigh Senior High School for their senior recognition. I've been, for the past 5 years, the scholarship chair for the Haitian American Community Coalition. And every year we give we're not a big organization, but we give 4 $1,000 scholarships to our Haitian heritage kids. And this, you know, I'm always the main one going through those. This year, and it's happened before, our top of the top 4, the ones we chose, was actually born in Haiti. And it just always blows me away when I see, and this goes for, we have so many ESOL kids in our school system that come here, learn English, and then rise to be the cream of the crop. These GPAs that are above a 4.0, it's amazing. It's amazing, and all of the extracurricular things they do. And so my colleague who is the president of the group, she's going to be at, let's see, she's going to be at Ida Baker this week, actually, presenting a certificate to one of her scholarship winners. I'll be at Lehigh, and unfortunately, because we always run a race with the clock getting those things scored, we missed two of them, but the kids still are honored. And finally, a couple people have already mentioned, thanks to Dr. Ken Savage, who has served as our superintendent. And I know some people like to every time say, our interim superintendent, our interim. Well, he served during a transition period, but he is still, until Dr. Bernier is sworn in, he is still and has been our superintendent through such a difficult time with, the continuation of COVID and with the political climate being what it is, and public education coming under general attack. I won't get into that. I could, but so I want to say my thank you, and as somebody already said, he is going to be around in a position as a chief, so he will still be playing an integral role with us. And of course, we'll all be, at least most of us, I guess, will be wishing Dr. Bernier, smooth sailing as our next superintendent come next, is it 5 o'clock or 6? What time? 5 o'clock next Monday, the 16th. So we're looking forward to that. So those are my comments for tonight.
Madam Chair, I forgot.
Yes, and then I'll go to Ms. Morgan. So go ahead, please.
Okay. What I was trying to say before, the student that lost his life actually saving his girlfriend was Damari Jackson, a 16-year-old student at Fort Myers High School. And I will never forget the speech that Principal Butts gave at the memorial as well. And the last thing I forgot was that I did my first graduation already this year, FSW, Collegiate High School. There were 84 students in the class, 84. 75 of them graduated the day before from FSW with an associate's degree. 84, 75. They're doing wonderful things, and congratulations to all of them.
Thank you, Ms. Gittens. Ms. Morgan?
I have no words. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I guess it's my turn. Pretty much everyone has, as you can see, we are, no matter what anybody thinks, we are definitely dedicated to our children. We care about these kids in this community, and you can hear that by how people are speaking on them, and everywhere that we are there. Every minute that I have that I can be somewhere, I am there. If they call me, I'm there. And I know a lot of my colleagues have mentioned all the other places that we have been to this week, and able to share those joys with the students and their families. So I'm not going to reiterate all of those places, but we did have two of our teachers did receive from the Lee County Bar Association for Law Week. They received 2 awards, and Lord knows I cannot remember who they were, but there's 2. One was from Dunbar, and one was from, Denise, South. Do you remember? South. Oh yeah, they were there, South. Yeah. See, I told you my mind's going. And then also, Ms. Gittens, you just mentioned the young man, and that was
Damari Jackson.
Yeah, Damari. That was definitely heart-wrenching. We are still having, our seniors are still participating in their awards ceremonies the rest of this week. We have the senior decision days have been taking place. I know, my grandson was there, he's graduating, yay, I'll be there. And their decision days were the kids able to sign for what schools that they will be signing on to, as well as the workforce. So that in itself was great. The mayor's prayer breakfast happened. There was tons of people out there. That was a great event. And then we just passed Mother's Day, so I hope that all of us up here are mothers. So I hope that everyone, had time to share and love on their families. And for those out there who are mothers, happy belated Mother's Day. Again, Dr. Savage has been mentioned multiple times. Really appreciate, he was going to be here this evening. We had purchased a nice gift for him, which we handed to him yesterday because that was his last official meeting with us. But again, he's not gone. He'll be here till the 16th, which of course, then we have the swearing in of Dr. Bernier, which is May 16th at 5 o'clock, and it is open to the public. It will be right here in this room. And we also have on May 11th, which is tomorrow, which is also my granddaughter's birthday, just a shout out to her. Franklin Park will have a open house for the reconstruction on what that's going to look like, so that's going to be exciting for the community as well. And
The law luncheon.
the law luncheon. I'm sorry?
We had 2 teachers on.
Yes, I just mentioned that.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding me. Let's see.
Meet the superintendent.
And then
Meet the superintendent.
Oh, meet the superintendent. Thank you. See, everybody's needing to help me here. So tomorrow, there is meet the superintendent, and that's going to be a chamber meeting.
Crown Plaza. Is
I'm
it
sorry.
Crown Plaza?
Hold up. I have a lot of people speaking.
Sorry.
Okay, let me look before I share this information. Tomorrow evening is definitely going to be the community meeting, and that's going to be at Franklin Park. And that is at 6 o'clock. And that's the update. Then we also have the Cypress Lake Seniors Awards, which will be on the 12th, if anybody would like to join us there. And then there is another meeting for Meet the Superintendent, which is tomorrow as well, and that's at the Crown Plaza, and that's part of the chamber. So I have to tell you, since he's been on board as the consultant, he has been very busy out in the community, making sure that he is meeting and greeting everybody he possibly can. He has invited people to come in to meet with him, so I'm really excited. And the transition with Dr. Savage and Dr. Bernier has been excellent, and I'm just really excited to where this team is going to move with him. So I hope everybody does welcome him on the 16th. I know staff is excited about it. Everybody's on board, so it's going to be a great partnership. And with that, I'm going to go to Ms. Dupree Bruno. Do you have anything to share tonight?
I don't, thank you.
Thank you. And then Ms. Carlin, Dr. Carlin, thank you for sitting in here with us tonight. I appreciate that. And do you have any comments?
I do, if I can just have 30 seconds. Just
Yes.
want to echo the board members' comments this evening relative to our teachers and staff and our children who continue to work very hard right up through the end of school. So just thank you to all of them, and congratulations to our seniors. Next weekend, they will be graduating, and I know we're all really excited to celebrate with them. Also want to thank you as board members for attending the year-end events. As a former principal in this district and a teacher, I can tell you that means the world when you show up and you support our events with our children and our staff, and so thank you for that, because we know that's a time commitment. And finally, just want to echo the comments of the board. It's been a pleasure to serve with Dr. Ken Savage as the superintendent of schools. We all have benefited from his wisdom and his leadership, and really appreciate your support of him. We also welcome Dr. Bernier and are very excited to see him sworn in on Monday, and look forward to supporting him as a cabinet. So thank you. Those are my comments.
Thank you. And again, just as a reminder, Dr. Savage is not leaving the district. It will be still here. I know it sounds like he's leaving, but he's just leaving the position and moving into another one. The next scheduled meeting of the board is on Monday, May 23rd, and the board will hold a workshop at 12 p.m. On Tuesday, May 24th, there will be a board briefing at 1 p.m., followed by an action meeting at 6. At this point, seeing no other business to come before this body, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, and have a great evening.
Thank you.